Joe Biden and his handlers are out to dismantle America. He wants to break us down so he can rebuild America into, you ready for this? A communist nation. In order to do that, they need to fundamentally change the makeup of America. They need the majority of people on board with an all-powerful government in full control of everything. What better way to do that than open up our borders and promise free stuff, health care, welfare, and of course, amnesty. The left now wants America overwhelmed with migrants dependent on the government. The more people here that support massive government programs, the more people dependent on those programs. The easier it is to grow government and, of course, its power over the people. That's what they seek here. All of this goes hand in hand with Joe Biden's latest $2.5 trillion, quote, infrastructure bill. Yes, the open borders, along with these massive spending bills, are the 1-2 punch aimed at knocking America out.
We have deferred for too long. It's time to take action, and our grandkids are going to be grateful if we do it.
No, I don't think so. That's Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo. And our grandkids will not be grateful. They'll be bankrupt, okay? And if $2.5 trillion isn't enough to break the bank, hey, why not make it $10 trillion?
That $2.2 trillion, 2.25 over 8 years, I have serious concerns. And in order for us to realize this inspiring vision, we need to go way higher. If we could wave a magic wand and the progressives in the House were able to name any number and get it through, we're talking about realistically $10 trillion over 10 years.
$10 trillion, she says. Magic wand. Why not make it $20 or $30 trillion? Come on, AOC. Over 10 years, $10 trillion. The federal government only takes in about $3.5 trillion a year. So, of course, the Democrats' answer to all this is raise taxes on, of course, the wealthy and on businesses. But here's the problem with that. The plan that they're offering up here calls for the creation of tens of thousands of union jobs. Sounds good until you realize those jobs are to work on government projects. What happens when the government projects are finished? The only way the people keep their jobs is if government spends more money on more government projects. That sounds great too, except what AOC and Joe Biden's handlers envision is impossible to sustain. Now, I believe, and I'm sure you're with me on this, the government only needs to ensure the opportunity for private enterprise to create wealth in America exists. The opportunity. Incentivize entrepreneurship. That's what government should be doing. Instead, this plan they're offering up turns everyone out there into a worker bee. No more entrepreneurs. Worker bees, where the only entity that actually creates jobs is, of course, the federal government. That sounds an awful lot like communism. And in order for it to work, the communists in charge now need more worker bees, who don't need a lot to live on, by the way. Hence the call for mass migration to America. Just look at what is in this infrastructure bill. Most of it has nothing to do with infrastructure. They've got $400 billion in it to care for the elderly and disabled, $300 billion to revitalize manufacturing. Be sure this will come in the form of loans that will, of course, make businesses beholden to government for years to come. There's $213 billion for affordable housing, they say. Here's what happens. The landlord for all those new worker bees will now be the federal government. $10 billion for the enforcement, and that's the key word here, that employers are providing workers with fair and equal pay. Enforcement, to make sure workplaces are free from racial and gender discrimination. That's a direct quote. Meaning the government will now dictate to you how you run your business. And if you don't comply, that's their favorite word, by the way, you will be punished, of course. A key aspect or core value of this anti-freedom, anti-American bill is punishment.
This is a values-based package, and we are not going to compromise on core values. And meeting the challenges of climate change is a core value. Equity is a core value.
All right, so she's talking about people being equal, but they aren't, and they never will be. Some people are smarter, some people are stronger, some people are more efficient. Those people deserve more when they do better things. That is at the heart of American success. It's not a bad thing. But when you flood our society with unskilled labor and uneducated workforce, guess what happens? Treating everyone the same becomes so much easier. No one complains, get in line, take your check. What we are now witnessing is the attempt to destroy American greatness. But Joe Biden and his communist goons underestimate all of us, Stinchfield's army. That's a guarantee, folks. Their attempted communist takeover will be harder than they think, because the American people are also smarter than they think too.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.